So, Mr. Gurak, we're now here at the investment conference. Can you tell us what are the investment opportunities in the Ukrainian defense sector?
Well, as I told during my speech, they're quite broad, in fact. For the last 3 years, since the new team is managing the Ukrainian defense industry, there had been a lot of accomplishments. But the major ones, which are actually leading to investment attractiveness, are that we were able to shift business model from selling all military stock to producing new equipment. We were able to shift the reputation on international markets from being a great armament dealer to a civilized business, international business. And thirdly, we started reform of defense industry, which is going on and happening now. The reform will The ultimate aim of reform is to create transparent a business climate and business structure for international investors to put their capital into. And that's a prerequisite for Ukrainian defense industry to be investment attractive.
Do you see potential for foreign investors coming into Ukraine, into your sector?
Yeah, great potential, in fact. So there are delegations coming in and out, I would say, each week, basically, and this conference in particular had raised a lot of interest. So we have different projects to offer, starting from small scale, finishing with large scale, so anything starting from small venture capital input and startups, finishing with strategic investment for the world major players in this industry.
Can we get some examples?
Sure. Antonov, for instance, we developed a model for investing into Antonov. Antonov recently there was a decision by the government which leads to corporatization of Antonov, so creation of a shareholding company out of Antonov. And Antonov is now has really tremendous programs on creation of new aircrafts with our technology, which is a mature and durable transport aircraft. Together with Western components, this creates a really competitive product on the world market. The proof of which we recently showcased the brand new AN-132D, which is manufactured for Saudi Arabia. So this is the first ever aircraft produced without Russian components, and it's a very good piece of equipment which would be definitely competitive on the world market. And the fact that this aircraft was produced is in itself a historical event, because nobody believed in the world that we can produce airplanes without Russia. So a lot of people really thought that even Antonov is a Russian company, which it is not. So all the competence, all the IP rests here in Ukraine, and that's a very good company to invest into.
Is there potential for Ukraine's aerospace industry? Because back in the Soviet time, Ukraine was a major player in the aerospace.
Sure.
What is the state of current affairs right now?
Antonov is just one of the examples. There's a whole bunch of opportunities, starting from small UAVs, finishing with large tactical UAVs which are able to carry weapons. We can do all that, and we are doing this now. So the range of projects is so broad that you just cherry pick anything which you're interested in, and we'll give you the solution and or the proposal what could be interesting.
What about the financing? Do you get enough financing from the government, or this is being done on a commercial basis? So if we're talking about aerospace industry.
So due to the fact that government has to do everything simultaneously and at the same time, because there was not much development of the aerospace and defense industry until 2014, we are counting more to private. We are counting on private capital, but of course there is government investment to some extent, but it's not enough to grow the business to the extent that we want. So I would say that we strategically are concentrating on attraction of foreign investment into aerospace industry.
If we go from investment to trade, can we talk a little bit about the export strategy of Ukraine's defense industry? And without revealing any state secrets, what can you tell us about your main export items, let's say back in 2016?
So the business model of this industry is basically very similar to a car manufacturing model. So there is a whole world of the Soviet and post-Soviet equipment which is in dozens of countries. So our main revenue comes from servicing that equipment, and now we are shifting to modernization of that equipment together with Western high-tech components. So you take the tank, it's still the same body of the tank as it was 50 years ago, but the components and everything in it should be modern now. It should have thermal vision, it should have laser guidance, whatever. So we are doing all that. We have our own solutions, we have solutions of our partners from the West and other countries. So this is a very interesting model to explore, because this market is growing, and countries are not all rich, and they cannot afford themselves to buy more and more new equipment, so they have to service that equipment. And there is a combination of win-win opportunities if you cooperate with Ukrainian defense industry, where we give a client, where we have an industrial base, Western company brings technology, we combine it together and give the product to country X to be able to have a defense capability of today.
What about value-added products? What are the main export items in value-added products in defense industry?
It's aerospace mostly, so 40% I think it's aerospace. Then it's armored vehicles. Then it's electronics. Then it's so we are basically present in 5 industries, plus 2 which I named. This is missiles and high-precision weapons and Navy. So, but the most exported is aerospace.
And who would you say are Ukraine's main customers?
If regional-wise is Asia, Far Asia is the main customer, then it's Middle East, then North Africa, and then the rest of the world.
Understood. Well, we wish you best of luck in your further endeavors, and thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.